The Global Mazda MX-5 Cup. It's the first step any rookie driver takes in iRacing, and it's earned a reputation as being an unforgiving battlefield. Multi-car wrecks, dangerous dive bombs, crashes galore. They're never far away in this series. But I'm not immune to these mistakes either. I entered a race at Oulton Park earlier today and I had two huge shunts. The first was on lap 1 when I just carried too much corner speed through Island Bend. As soon as you're on the grass here, it's game over. I hurtled headfirst into the barrier in perfect synchronisation with another driver making an identical mistake. One pit stop later, I'm back out on track and the driver in front of me loses it big time in Britain's. I've got no time to react and I plough into him hard. One race, 2 smashes and countless swear words. So why am I putting myself through this ordeal? Am I mad? Quite possibly. Do I have a death wish? Almost certainly. But there's a very good reason. It's a special milestone today for CR Sim Racing. This is my 200th video, and by sheer coincidence, it's the very same combo that featured in my first ever video some 2.5 years ago. So to mark the occasion, I'm going back to where it all started. Not many of you will remember that first video. At the time, I wasn't even planning to make 20, never mind 200. There was no CR Sim Racing paint job, no commentary, just a very inexperienced sim racing rookie. The race started badly when I was unable to avoid a T1 wreck in front of me, and just as I thought I'd got past it safely, I got tagged and was wiped out. I was able to get back going though, and by the end of the race I'd worked my way up to 3rd position, despite this big fright with a back marker trying to unlap himself. So in my first ever video, I came 3rd at Oulton Park. How will I get on 199 videos later? Well, it's a much higher strength of field, of course, compared to that first video all those races ago, and iRacing has given us the number 6 plate. It fancies us to be in and around the mid-pack, and from the looks of qualifying, it's not far wrong. We've put it P5 with a time of 1:54.8. Now, there's quite a broad range of lap times here, and the driver starting alongside me on the 3rd row, Stephen Young, he's 0.7 of a second slower, so if I can make a break from those cars behind, I may just be able to stick with the front 4 and challenge for a podium. Oh, and that's got to be a jump start for Marcus Heidelberg right in front of me on the grid. Now the lights have gone green and Heidelberg's really slow to get away. We pull out into the middle. Thankfully, Stephen Young alongside me on the grid gave me the space I needed to do that safely. So we've gained the position. However, we have got Young on the inside into T1. I had to be really careful there to make sure we both got through that first corner safely. So we've lost a position to Young. He's tucked into 4th. Oh, but he's out of control. He's on the grass. He's surely going to come back across, and somehow he manages to miss the front 2. Well, I don't know how much the leading duo would have known about that. I suspect they didn't know anything about it until it was too late. There didn't look like there was enough room to get a car through there, but somehow Stephen Young found it and slid through safely. Incredible stuff on this opening lap at Oulton Park. I can't wait to see a replay of that incident, but for now we'll concentrate on getting this first lap out of the way, and we've got the pole position man, Matthias Bladowski, leading the way, Seelig Stoney in 2nd and Frederico Krumnak in 3rd. I'm about 0.5 of a second behind in 4th as we work our way through Britain's for the first time. I'm grateful of a bit of breathing room both in front and to Carlos Santos behind. Santos has done really well actually. He started down in 9th on the grid with a qualifying time of 1:56.1. That was more than 1 second slower than my time, but he's clearly got pace. As we lose Seelig Stoney out of 2nd position, Stoney got it all wrong. Coming out of his slots, just clipped the grass on the right. That sent him out to the left, and that promotes us up into 3rd position. It looks like Stoney did manage to rejoin without spinning. However, Santos got past him too, so we're into 3rd, Santos 4th, Stoney down to 5th. And I doubt very much that we've seen the last of Stoney, because he and the leader Bladowski were the only 2 drivers to qualify in the 153s. So I think that Stoney is the only other guy on this grid who can challenge Matthias Bladowski. But if he's going to do that, he wants to get back there sooner rather than later. There's only 10 laps in this race. Time is of the essence. Meanwhile, I didn't quite get my line right through Lodge Corner there. That's cost me a bit of speed coming down the start and finish straight. It's going to invite a challenge from Santos on the inside for the 2nd lap in a row. I've got to leave space, and Santos creeps through. Now we've got Stoney on our outside as well. I'm going to be trapped on this inside line into Cascades. I don't like it one bit, but there's nothing I can do about it. Stoney into the rear of Santos. We have to avoid Stoney. And out of nowhere, Sven Helmke joins in. He makes 2 positions by diving up the inside. Incredible stuff. How on earth did we survive Cascades 3 wide without so much as an incident point? We've got to see that again. But before we do, let's see if we can find out how Brodowski and Stoney managed to survive this slide from Stephen Young. I still don't know how he managed to fit through that gap on board with Brodowski. He really didn't know anything about it. One more look from the chopper cam. Young's out onto the grass, and talk about threading through the eye of a needle. That couldn't have been closer. But it was equally as dramatic at the same corner on the next lap. However, just before that, Santos makes a move up the inside of me into T1. I had no choice but to leave him space, and that left a hole for Stoney to charge through. But watch Stoney on the outside. He runs into the rear of Santos. I have to react, and that leaves space for Sven Helmke to make a move up the inside and pass the pair of us. So wonderful work from Helmke. He jumped from 6th to 4th in one swoop, and credit to all 3 drivers here to go through Cascades 3 wide without so much as an incident point is very, very impressive. Oh, Stoney putting Helmke under all sorts of pressure now, although there might have been some contact because Stoney was out of shape, exiting the hairpin. We're alongside now. I don't want to be going into Britain's too wide. Thankfully, we've got enough power to get in front of Stoney, so that puts us up into 5th position. Stoney will no doubt want to fight straight back, but look at the run we've got out of the chicane. We may even gain another place here because we can power alongside Sven Helmke. Now, have we got the speed and have we got the bravery to get the job done into Hislops? We've got to hold it. Yes, we have. Well, that was a huge gamble to try and get that pass done up the inside into Hislops, but we've made it stick. Yeah, I really got stuck in here to claw back 2 positions. We've gone from 6th to 4th. This was the first pass up the inside of Felix Stoney, and then at the bottom of the hill we held our nerve to make this pass up the inside of Sven Helmke into the Hislop chicane. That might just be one of the best overtakes I've ever done, but credit to Helmke too for giving me the space. Well, I can't believe we haven't even completed 2 laps of this race yet. It has been incredibly intense, but there are some gaps starting to open up now. Santos in 3rd is 1 second clear, but look in the rearview mirror. Helmke and Stoney battling really hard. We know that Stoney is the faster of the 2 drivers, so the longer he stays behind Helmke, the better it is for me. And look at the ground I'm making up on Santos all of a sudden. We're so much quicker through that first turn. I can't get to the inside though. I've got to stay wide. He's on the brakes really early. There's almost contact. We had to slam on the brakes there to avoid rear-ending Santos, and so much for the gap we built up behind. Look in the rearview mirror now. Sven Helmke just 0.3 of a second back. Stoney 0.5 of a second back. We're under all kinds of pressure again now. Well, I'm going to take the defensive line into this hairpin just to make sure there's no way through for Helmke, but he is right on my tail now. All I can see is bright green in that rearview mirror. And if I get sucked into a battle with him, the only person that's going to benefit is Santos, who may be able to make a breakaway again. Oh, Helmke getting really close through Britons. I thought there was going to be contact there. That was tense. Well, this racing is insanely close. A lap earlier we saw Stoney rear-end Santos here, and then the next lap I very nearly did the same thing. I'm guessing Santos isn't too confident through that section. Then later in the lap, watch the bright green Mazda of Helmke. He runs in a bit too hot into Britons, just manages to avoid me, but then he gets a tap from Stoney. And that minor contact is just enough to give me a welcome bit of breathing room. Well, I'm going to repeat what I said a lap ago and hope that Sven Helmke can somehow hold Felix Stoney up a bit. The 2 of them were battling really closely through Hislops then, and as a result they've slowed each other down. They're now 1.5 seconds back. That's the biggest the gap has been, but it looks like Stoney might be making his move. He's on the inside up Clay Hill. There might have been contact. There's a cloud of smoke in the rearview mirror, and I don't think they're going to reappear over the brow of the hill. We've lost them both. Yeah, Stoney did get a much better run up Clay Hill. He's moved to the inside to try the pass into Druids, but there's contact. A pair of them get tangled together and they're both out onto the grass. It was difficult to tell from that camera angle whether Stoney had done enough to make the move up the inside. Maybe the chopper cam will give us a better view. And yeah, Stoney is more or less alongside. Helmke turns in to try and make the apex, and it ends in tears. Well, the pressure's off behind now. Look at that gap back to 5th position. It's almost 4 seconds, so we can fully concentrate now on hunting down Santos. Now, we know that he's not too quick through T1, and we know he's not too confident through turns 2 and 3 either, so this might be our opportunity. I'm going to apex this first corner as late as possible to get as much exit speed as I can, and it's working. We're reeling him in, so now I'm going to move to the inside. I don't want to get caught behind him again. We're side by side. Can we hold our nerve and take this 3rd position through Cascades? Yes, we can. Well, we're being incredibly brave in this race. So far, it is paying off. We're up into 3rd. Yeah, I'm really satisfied with this overtake. It was all about the exit speed out of T1, which gave me the momentum to stick my nose up the inside, hold that line through Cascades, and take 3rd position. Well, once I got around Santos, I had the pace to clear off pretty quickly. We're rejoining the live action now on lap 6 out of 10, and as you can see from the leaderboard, we've opened up a 3.5 second advantage over the 4th place driver. So far, I've driven an immaculate race, but I'm going to make my one and only small mistake through Britain's here. I'm just running it a bit hot, take a little bit too much of the curb on the outside, which cost me a second or so. Meanwhile, behind me on the next lap, Santos was overtaken by Gert Segaros. So Segaros up to 4th, Santos is down to 5th. You can just see me in the distance there, maintaining my 2.5 second advantage when Santos makes an almighty mistake going into Britain's. He wraps it around that tyre barrier. Zagaro, meanwhile, had some pretty decent late race pace, but he wasn't quite quick enough to trouble me over the final 2 laps. And as we climb up over D'Elite for the final time, I'm going to take the checkered flag in 3rd position with Zagaro 2.1 seconds behind. Well, as it's a special occasion and a Mazda Rookies race, let's have a good old-fashioned crash reel, shall we? There was certainly plenty of mayhem going on behind us, although full marks to the number 2, Gavin Barnett, for saving that one. That was a fantastic rescue effort. Oh, the number 9, Diego Herencia, getting it out onto the grass at the end of the first lap. Oh, but he's not able to save that one. Oh, and this is Seelig Stoney losing it in the final turn. This is later in the race, and he spins right in front of both Sven Helmke and Stephen Young, both of them taking avoiding action. Oh, Gavin, you did so well to save it on lap 1, and you've gone and undone all your good work coming out of Cascades. Oh, Gavin Barnett again, but this time we're watching the car behind. That's Stephen Young getting it all wrong, exiting Britain's. Now, you'll remember Young from that spectacular slide on lap 1 when he went through the smallest of gaps between Matthias Blodowski, the race winner, and Seelig Stoney. Well, clearly Young's luck didn't get any better, because on the same lap, he crashes for a 2nd time. Oh no, not Young again. Well, he's got a cleaner car. I suspect he's just come out from having it repaired from the previous 2 crashes. He's going to get it wrong into the hairpin, slides out to the gravel and rolls it. Spectacular stuff from Stephen Young. Oh no, he's sinking as well. It's quicksand. Oh, Diego Herencia, the number 9 again. We saw him get it wrong coming out of the final turn earlier in the race. He's going to get it equally wrong coming out of the hairpin there. Oh, this is the number 1 car, Frederico Krumnak. Now, he finished 2nd in the race. I'm suspecting he must save this one. He's out onto the grass. Oh, he gives the barrier a proper whack. But yes, somehow he manages to save it. I suspect that gave him some damage, though, so I'm pretty sure he'll be limping that car home to take the checkered flag. Final turn action again. Another mistake for the number 7, Seelig Stoney. He's probably given up hope by this point. And I didn't realise that we lost Sven Helmke too. He found the same magnetic tyre barrier that Santos did. Yeah, wonderfully spectacular carnage in the Global Mazda MX-5 Cup as usual. Let's check out the classified results, and how apt that I pick up a 3rd place finish in my 200th race video. Exactly the same finish as I did 2.5 years ago in that very first video. During the race, I managed to get my fastest lap time down to 1:54.4, but you know what? I think my biggest achievement here at Oulton Park was bringing it home with no incident points, particularly considering how closely we were battling over those opening few laps. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed the trip down memory lane for today's video. I've got to admit, I was pleasantly surprised with just how good the racing was in this Global Mazda MX-5 Cup. I wasn't expecting much, but I really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed racing in it. And if this video has put you in the mood for more iRacing carnage, I really recommend you checking out the video on screen now. This race was absolute madness. Cheers for watching.